Is this thing on? What's going on, guys? My name is Orphid, and it's been a while, but we are back here today with some massive gaming news. As you can tell by the title, if you don't live under a rock, or if you follow gaming news to any degree, Microsoft has acquired the parent company of Bethesda. Yes, those guys that make the Elder Scrolls, Fallout, the upcoming Starfield. Their parent company Zenimax. Microsoft has struck a deal with them for $7.5 billion. Microsoft got deep pockets, man. This is fucking nuts. I don't know anyone who, if you would have asked them, they would have been like, yeah, I saw this coming. I don't think anybody saw this coming. You just, you wake up on a Monday and you find out that a massive gaming company has been purchased for almost $8 billion. As you do. So this is honestly nuts. If you're a dedicated gamer and you've been following these beloved IPs for as long as they've been around, if you're fucking ancient, like I am, this is a huge deal. All the studios under the Zenimax brand are a part of this acquisition as well. So that means Machine Games, Arcane Studios, Bethesda Softworks, id Software, all of those guys are now Microsoft's developers. And that's huge. Now we're going to get into what this means for those IPs moving forward. We're going to talk about what that means for Microsoft, hell, even for the competition, Sony, and what that could mean for them, and just, what this generation spells as a whole for the competition between these two mammoth gaming brands, because it is some very, very interesting stuff. So, Phil Spencer says, first and foremost, let's get this out of the way. Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop will still be timed exclusive. Before this acquisition was made, those games are going to be timed exclusive to PlayStation 5. Obviously, once this deal is done, those are now Microsoft properties. But, good guy Phil is gonna honor the deal, and those are going to remain timed exclusive. But he states future titles will be a case-by-case basis, i.e. Outer Worlds. Now, that example I provide because when Microsoft obtained Obsidian, the Outer Worlds was already in development for multiple consoles. So again, they could have pulled a dick move and just been like, here's the first game while Obsidian is under our umbrella, where it's Xbox exclusive, but they allowed it to still be multi-plat with the assumption that the games from that studio moving forward would just be a Microsoft game, which I completely understand, and it's as fair as you get when you get acquisitions on this level. So this begs the question, what kind of strategy does Microsoft commit to from this point forward? Now there's two real options, but keeping it a buck, I think there is only one option they're going to take, and I think it is inevitable, and a lot of people may not like it. So the first one, as you just casually drop $8 billion, you kind of want to see something from that. You don't just do that for no reason. So what am I getting at here? One of the options is Microsoft could keep the big games multi-plat to make back, some of that revenue, and to just keep that as a steady stream of revenue moving forward, considering these IPs are so well established and are so big. What am I talking about? The Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom, massive IPs like that. It would benefit Microsoft keeping them multi-plat, because that's a lot of money they're missing out, especially how this last gen played out with Sony having such a massive install base, selling against the Xbox One almost 2.5 to 1. That's a lot of customers you could be missing out on. Now that seems like a good enough and obvious reason that you could rest assured not have to worry about these games being exclusive, but I'm sorry, my friend, in the real world, it just does not work like that. Now, the most likely option is Microsoft makes those big IPs exclusive to truly bring you on board with the Xbox brand. Now, once again, when you spend almost $8 billion in the gaming world for an acquisition like this, you have a reason for that. Microsoft has a dedicated goal they're looking to see through with games as not games as service, excuse me, a game service that looks to provide games to everyone, casting as wide of a net as possible. Now, this doesn't come without exclusives, even though Phil Spencer has went on record saying how much he's against exclusives. They're very much still invested in exclusives. You don't acquire, a fuck ton of studios in the last 2 or 3 years if you are not prepared to have exclusive experiences on your console. So what I and many others expect to come out of this is the future titles like Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom. They're gonna be Xbox exclusive titles. You're gonna only be able to play them on Xbox PC, and they'll be on Game Pass. Now, how do I feel about this as someone who is a fan of those series? It's tough shit, but it's a damn good strategy. From a certain point, I'm gonna have to own an Xbox console or buy into Game Pass to play these games. Microsoft is looking to get my money, and if I want to experience those games, I have to shell it out. It's the same way Sony deals in getting their partnerships. Right now, Final Fantasy 16 is a console exclusive. A lot of people grew up playing Final Fantasy, and they may not have a PlayStation console right now, but you sure as hell better get one if you want to play it. And as a PlayStation gamer, I understand that, so I can't be mad at it. I respect Microsoft for the move. It was a massive, big dick move, and it is sure enough going to shake up the industry and this generation moving forward. Now, what do I think this means for Sony? As we see, Sony is just like Microsoft, is no stranger to partnerships and striking exclusive deals. Hell, Call of Duty has hoarded its way throughout the generation. On the Xbox 360, there was an exclusive deal with Microsoft and Activision to get maps early on Xbox. Now it's moved over to PlayStation. That's how it works currently with Sony and Activision. Again, with the Final Fantasy example, Ghostwire Tokyo and Deathloop. Sony is no stranger to, striking these deals to get you, exclusive experiences on PlayStation, either flat out or at least for a time period. Now, going into this generation, there was a lot of reports that both of these publishers were looking to make massive moves for partnerships. They wanted to get a lot of big partnerships going to kind of get people ready for this next generation and to be just this massive stamp as to why you should get their console. And I think so far, before the fucking machines even come out, they're right. 100%. 100% that's what's going to happen. And I think, a response from Sony, something like acquiring Square Enix isn't so far off at this point. Hell, when you see an $8 billion transaction for, some of the biggest IPs gaming has ever seen, and everything's on the table at this point. It was also rumors going in that Sony was interested in getting a partnership with Rockstar and having the next mainland Grand Theft Auto game be timed exclusive. When I first saw that, I was like, as cool as that might sound, there's no fucking way. But after today's news, I would not be surprised. If you are on one side of these consoles, definitely get ready for some massive shakeups and to potentially be having gaming experiences you've never had or having ones that you are used to having taken away from you. At this point, anything goes. And it's very interesting. I'm not gonna lie, it's extremely interesting. But I think what's most important about all of this is at the end of the day, competition breeds excellence. And that's ultimately what we want as consumers of any products that these guys put out, whether it's consoles, gaming experiences, accessories. As long as you have someone there to make sure you are in line, then you will get the best products that you could possibly get. Because let's be real, as much as we love the memes and shit that come out anytime something happens with these consoles and, Sony and Microsoft, it would not be a good idea to just have one company be dominant, solely. Because that means they can get away with a lot of heinous shit, and you want to see competition. I want Xbox to do well. I don't play on an Xbox, but as someone who is invested in gaming to the degree I am, I want to see them do well. And an acquisition like this is exciting. It's competition. And that's exactly what we need to keep thriving and pushing the industry forward. You know, at least that's the way I see it. When you care this much about something, you want to see it be the best it can possibly be. So at the end of the day, it's going to be very interesting moving forward, boys. What do you guys think about this news? Do you think Microsoft made a bad move? Do you think it will pay off? Do you think they just set their way to kind of move into this generation extremely strong? Definitely share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to read them. I love interacting. And I love talking gaming first and foremost. So thank you so much for listening and talking with me. You guys have a good one. And until next time.